baby. In this video we're going to talk about what baby-led weaning is. It's kind of a popular fashionable craze just now. It's come over mostly from the US and been introduced in the UK by a couple of mums. This video is going to introduce you to what is baby-led weaning, why do the advocates of it follow that programme, what's good, what's bad, and if you're going to do it, how to do it. So starting off with what is baby-led weaning. Basically you're presenting your baby with a variety of foods in front of them and letting them feed themselves. That is no spoon to mouth, no fingers to mouth, your fingers. You do not put any food in your baby's mouth whatsoever. So you don't use a spoon to put purees in their mouth. You don't pick up bits of cheese and put them in their mouth. You let the baby do all the work and you don't participate in their eating process at all, apart from obviously providing the food in front of them. And basically what you're doing is you're providing easy to grab pieces that they can hold in their hands, kind of the right shape for them to hold in their hands and nice and soft to start off with obviously so they don't choke. And it gives a chance for your baby to experience different flavours and textures for themselves, and they can choose what they want to eat. So if they like something more than the other, then the advocates say that they'll show a preference for that and they'll be more likely to happily eat things because they're choosing what they put in their mouth. Why might you want to try baby-led weaning? So the advocates of baby-led weaning say that it's really good for your baby's development because they're experiencing different flavours and different textures. It's also good for hand-eye coordination because obviously they're getting their food to their mouth, which can be quite frustrating for babies at first because they tend to grab with their whole hand and then they find it really hard to get from the inside of their hand. So they'll be kind of like doing that from the bottom and they'll get the odd bit, but most of it will end up on the floor. So they say that this is a good practice for them because they're constantly trying to eat themselves. They'll eventually work out how to use that pincer grip and pick things up and get them from hand or from palm into mouth. Advocates also claim that babies are more likely to join in on family meal times and also to be open to new foods and new flavours and new textures as well from a young age, i.e. they're basically saying your toddler is likely to be less fussy if you use this baby-led weaning programme. So obviously there are no purees, there are no ice cube trays, no bulk cooking purees and putting them in the freezer. It can save time that way, but still bulk prepare some foods for baby-led weaning as well, of course. The drawbacks, like I said, because babies find it so hard to get food out of their palm, out the grip of their palm, it's very messy. A lot of food, in fact probably about 80 to 90% of the food will end up on the floor. Hands, face, hair, ears, up the nose, basically everywhere. Therefore there's like a lot of waste and it's really hard to know how much your baby's eating. There you go, sweetheart. And a lot of foods that are recommended for they recommend for baby-led weaning are actually really hard for babies to pick up, like avocado. Like after it's been in a baby's hand for more than seconds it becomes quite a mushy mess. Banana, same thing, becomes a mushy mess. Pasta, I guess, again, they're kind of chasing around the plate. And obviously yogurt is kind of a no-no unless you freeze it. If you watch my upcoming teething video, then I'll show you how to do that. But basically the baby ends up playing with the food on their tray and the baby clamps the food between their fist and finds it really difficult to actually get food into their mouth. Obviously once they become about 7 months you want to start introducing proteins and meats and such things. But meats can be really hard to chew and bite, so it's hard to give it to them in pieces that are big enough to pick up in their hands but actually small enough for them to chew as well. Try ground beef or minced turkey and that should do the job. Obviously if you're giving them bolognese, expect a lot of mess and probably staining, so I'd probably put them in a vest and nothing else. The general principle, like I said, was never to put food in the baby's mouth. The baby always should be feeding themselves. And this helps them be able to control how much food is going into their mouth and how to move it about, swallow, and also spit out anything when they have too much in their mouth. And the advocates of baby-led weaning say don't get hung up on how much food they're eating and continue to give your normal milk feeds until it's well established. Babies won't have that pincer grip when they first commence baby-led weaning. So you need to choose foods in kind of baton shapes, like baton shaped carrots that are really soft, so steamed until they're soft and you can basically mush them between your fingers. or have sort of natural, easy to hold handles such as broccoli and cauliflower, so they have that kind of piece that they can hold in their hands and they can eat from the flour. Make sure your food is cooked really well, so like I said, battens of carrots for example should be mushable, should be able to mush between your fingers. Obviously no bowls, so less bowls to wash, but definitely a lot of cleaning up. Essential thing to buy would be an easy to clean high chair, so something where either the chair is completely wiped down plastic or it has a chair cover that can be removed and stuck in the washing machine regularly. Also don't give your baby too much food at once or too many different foods at once because they can become quite overwhelmed. So have some in front of you and just keep putting little bits on their tray as and when they drop it or they manage to get some food in their mouth, and give them some more. Make sure you're feeding in between milk feeds, so maybe give your baby their milk feed an hour before, so they're not too hungry. You want them to be peckish so that they're interested in the food, but you definitely don't want them to be really hungry or they will be absolutely unresponsive to flavours and the new textures. The official guidance from your health visitor in the UK and the NHS in general is still that well mashed foods should be given to babies until they're 8 months, and then they can have soft lumps. And dietitians say that a variety of textures is great, but that this also needs to include more sloppy textures, which can be hard to pick up by hand, because otherwise if you're baby-led weaning the whole way through, then babies can reject things like soups and stews later on because it's that kind of sloppy texture that they're not used to. So dietitians say that a combination of both is probably the way to go. A lot of parents will worry about the choking hazard, and that's definitely something that would concern me, whether you're doing baby-led weaning or not. But because babies are eating at their own pace, provided you're giving appropriately soft foods to them, the choking risk isn't thought to be any higher for baby-led weaning than for purees. However, obviously never ever leave your baby alone whilst they're eating. Babies do have a gag reflex which brings the food back up into their mouth if they've swallowed it too quickly and it's not chewed enough yet. And it is a gag reflex, it brings it back into their mouth so they can chew more and then swallow. The first time you hear them do that gagging thing, it can be really scary, but don't rush and don't panic because you'll just make your baby panic and then they can really start to choke. It's a completely natural process and they'll start doing it quite often as they start to discover how to eat and how to chew things. So once you've heard it a couple of times you'll realise that's what it is. Obviously keep an eye on them, or keep a close eye on them, and make sure they gag just once or twice and bring the food back into their mouth and make sure that they're not actually choking. Like I said, chances are they'll go on chewing naturally and you can take a sigh of relief. But choking can happen if you give babies food that they're not ready for. In an article that I read recently, and I'll link it below, it stated that an estimated 30% of baby-led weaning babies had a choking episode, and most of these were on raw apple, so definitely something to avoid, and Elena won't be getting raw apple for several months yet. So be sensible and stay with your baby at all times and just keep a good eye on them. So in reality, what do I do then? I do a combination. I put finger foods out whilst I get her food ready. Good ones I find are grated mild cheddar cheese. She absolutely loves cheese. It's easy to pick up, it's grated already, easy for me to throw from the bag to the high chair, and also my dog loves it, so I have a hoover on hand. Baked salmon or tuna, so you can buy tuna tinned in the can with spring water, you can use that, or I'll bake a piece of salmon and break it into little flakes and give her some of that. She really loves fish. Also bits of soft vegetables or fruits like carrots or cucumber battens, or also toast with some butter is great for finger foods. You can also get things from like the organics range, little puffs and things like that. All of these things are good, as are my egg and banana pancakes, which if you haven't seen that recipe I will link it below. And I spoon feed her in between, so I let her feed herself from her tray, but like I said, obviously with baby-led weaning a lot of food ends up on the floor. So I have the kind of best of both worlds, where while she's kind of feeding herself and then she'll be looking to me and I'll give her a spoonful of food and she'll swallow that, and then she'll feed herself and I'll just be giving her food in between. But it also means I know how much she's actually getting down her, as well as giving her the fun of discovering new foods and discovering how to feed herself and how to get food from her pan into her mouth. So that would be my advice, would be to don't feel pressured to follow everything the health visitor said, but equally don't feel pressured to follow fashion trends when it comes to baby-led weaning. In reality, you have to do with what works for you and what you think your baby's ready for. And what works for me is definitely to do a combination of the both. She absolutely loves her independence, and she's getting to the stage where when I'm spoon feeding her, she will try and grab for the spoon. So I might get to the stage where she might feed herself more and more, but at the moment what works for me is a combination of both. So I hope you found this video useful. Leave me a comment if you've got any questions, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye! Bye bye! Say bye bye!